Hi Army, hi dancers, hi everyone. Today's kind of a sensitive topic, so I have Jimin on because he has the voice of an angel. I don't care what anybody says. I also have Jimmy. My Hobie jersey's on. And my earrings don't match my jersey, but whatever. Today's topic is sensitive, so I'm going to go ahead and throw up a content warning for PTSD, suicide, domestic violence, sexual assault, sexual harassment. I think that's all. If I forgot a content warning and it comes up, I apologize right now. I will write in the description below, and then of course the topic where I post this so you can see it. Anyways, I shouldn't have said anyways. Let's move on. So what is PTSD? PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. And it is usually, when you say that, you usually think of military veterans. And so in this case, we are going to talk about military veterans because Namjoon RM of BTS is a military veteran now. So post-traumatic stress can manifest in many different ways. And I need to make this so that Army understands a little bit more about PTSD. This isn't to shame anyone or to make anyone feel like they're less than or anything of that nature. I'm rewinding Jim in so you can have him there. I need Army to understand that PTSD is not a laughing matter. So it can actually change your whole perception on life. You can struggle with anxiety, depression, insomnia, suicidal thoughts. When you get PTSD, anything can trigger you, anything. And it can be really innocuous. So I know we all watched the interview with RM where the voice of an angel, where the interviewer asked him, or spoke to him about his military service, and you could see Joon had a moment. He, ducked his head and tried to laugh it off, but you could see his shoulders sort of tense up, which means that his adrenaline went up a little bit, if not a lot. And I think the laughing sort of helped release a little bit of that. However, I did see that it seemed like some Army were laughing about it by saying PTSD was triggered. And it was. But that isn't something to be laughed at. It's not something to be tossed around like a joke. We know that Joon suffered a lot while he was in the military. And that is coming out now that he's out. Is he ever going to be how he was before the military? I don't know. And frankly, don't put that pressure on him. He had to go and do the service as a service to his country. And he performed well from the understanding I have. But that doesn't mean he came out of it without problems. If you don't know anything about Joon, I can understand how you would think it odd that he would have PTSD after that, especially since he didn't see combat. He was just in the military band. Joon has a very high IQ, and with that comes a need to be creative, productive. Your brain has to do something when you're very, very high intelligence like that. That's why people who have very high intelligence often struggle with very basic tasks, because their brain is working at a different level. So, for example, Joon is clumsy. He can't cook. He can't do basic tasks. Not because he can't do it, but because he simply struggles with it. So, of course, in the military, he wouldn't have the autonomy to do what he wants. And he said that the military hurt him so bad, and I'm paraphrasing, that he lost all ability to be creative. He lost all ability to be creative, which is something his brain needs to do. But he was so in himself, and the military was ruining him so much that he couldn't do it. So when he got out and he was talking to us on that live, he was saying how much he struggled, how much he suffered. And I think it needs to be said that that is not something to be joked about. That man suffered. His mental health deteriorated. He ended up having to go to a psychiatrist to help him out because he just couldn't do it. Army, I need you to understand that. It's not a joking matter. He suffered. And he's probably going to suffer thinking about that for the rest of his life. Maybe not. Maybe not. But this is not a joke. And I'm going to need you to not bring up his military service in B Lives or questions or anything like that unless he brings it up first. Because then he's giving you consent to ask him. Consent is very important. Not just in, sexual situations, but in situations where you talk about things that are emotionally draining. I'm not mad at Army. You didn't know. Now you do. Let him give you consent. And if you can, flood the messages of people like Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert to say, please don't talk about his military service unless he does first, because that will necessitate him giving consent to the host to do that. Now, I know that's a long shot, and I understand, but I want you to know that you can trigger his PTSD simply by saying something about Army. His military service, we don't know what's going to trigger him. So for me, I have had all of the, I've had PTSD for many, many years due to domestic violence, sexual assault, sexual harassment, all of it. I can't remember what the fourth thing is, but I've had all of them. So for me, I've gotten a lot better, but things like, I was just reading a fan fiction that normally I'm okay with the content matter, but in it, and regardless of what you think about BTS fanfic, leave that at the side. I'm making a point here. In it, Joon was verbally, sexually, and physically abusing Jimin, which triggered my everything. I started to have a panic attack, which means I couldn't breathe super well. My adrenaline spiked. No matter how many times I said real Joon would never, it took It took Army to help me calm down. Well, and Jimin. That man has the voice of an angel. So I'm pretty open about these things, that I have PTSD and why. But maybe June isn't ready. Maybe June isn't ready. Maybe he'll never be ready to talk about it. I don't know. But my basic point here is, please understand what PTSD is and how it affects a person. He's in Switzerland right now at an art exhibition, and good for him, because you can tell that something that makes him happy is art. And he said that something that makes him happy is art. And that can really help you with your mindset. So it is a great thing that he is doing that. But I need Army to be sensitive to him. I just do. Okay? Please. Please, I'm begging you. Don't make fun of him. Don't put laugh emojis when you say PTSD was triggered. Please, I'm begging you. If I could show you me getting on my knees, I would. And we don't know if the other guys have PTSD, but we know that Joon does. Or at least it's highly probable from his life and from the reaction he had when they were asking him about it, or thanking him for coming after his military service. So please, don't make fun of that man. He doesn't deserve it. And I'm not shaming anyone. I understand that you didn't know. But PTSD is really very serious. I personally am on really heavy medication for it. And I still get things like suicidal thoughts. I still have panic attacks. And it can be innocuous. Things like somebody just moving too fast close to me can set me off. Somebody touching my hand, not even sexually, can set me off. So we need to give Joon some grace. A lot of grace. And now that you know, please, Army, love that man for everything. I love you, Army. Let's welcome Sugar back. Hopefully he doesn't have PTSD due to the scooter incident. But we'll see. Also, don't make fun of Sugar. Sorry, I said the R. If he does as well from the scooter incident. Don't do it, Army.